Welcome back to the show. We got a great one lined up. Let's not waste any time. Somebody roll that beautiful intro.
Digital Perspectives with Brad Kimes. Come on in.
Welcome back to the show. You can follow us on X, YouTube, and digperspectives.com for exclusive content. Right now, we are looking at $3.71 trillion market cap for crypto at the moment, and we're up 1.5%. We'll take that over yesterday, I'll tell you that. Bitcoin, 105,000 plus right now. Ethereum, 3,200 plus. XRP is $3.09, and the top three are all green. We're up 1.6 on the 24 and up 1.3 on the 7-day. Now, I know, careful what you call progress, but the reality is we're sitting at $178 billion plus market cap for XRP, larger than some of the massive companies out here in traditional world of finance and institutions. So just be ready, ladies and gentlemen. There's a lot of good news coming in this video, and I don't think we'll be sitting at 187 billion much longer. I can tell you that. It's going up, I think. Not financial advice. Ranging between 298 and 313. Obviously, 298 was overnight last night, or I would have bought that dip, but I missed it. But I did buy it at 271 the other morning, just 2 days ago, I think it was. So, not all bad. And I can't buy every single dip. I mean, if I do, it's not a lot. But nonetheless, out of habit, that's what I do. Bye-bye Bitcoin. Look at this. El Salvador, Congress has approved a bill to change its Bitcoin law to comply with a deal struck with the International Monetary Fund. Now, if you remember, the IMF was very much against the idea of El Salvador adopting Bitcoin as money. And what it goes on to say in here is something to pay attention to in the future. When El Salvador first passed their Bitcoin as legal tender rule in 2021, it was reported that all businesses must accept Bitcoin. Well, now that they've gotten this straight with the IMF, and I think the IMF has put pressure on here, the IMF Adoption 21 sent a statement in 21 recommending narrowing the scope of the Bitcoin law while strengthening the regulation and supervision of the new payment system. Now, what we know now, the new deal, in December, El Salvador changed its Bitcoin plans to secure a $1.3 billion loan from the IMF. Remember, this is how the globalists put you on the list, put you on the dole, and then you're beholden to them. In the early days, I remember they said they weren't going to take any money from them. That's why Bitcoin was being accepted as legal tender. Now they've worked out a deal to take $1.3 billion in El Salvador. So now under the plans, El Salvador has to change in order to take that money. The legal requirement making business accept Bitcoin as a payment, making it optional instead of, no option, right? Because they had to accept it. So the government would reduce their budget deficit by 3.5% of GDP over 3 years, cutting the spending of tax and rises while boosting reserves from 11 billion to 15 billion. Now, what you have to wonder is, because this is the way I cynically think about governments, IMF, entities like this that control things, that are powerful. They gave you a $1.3 billion loan. They got you to change Bitcoin from being a must to optional. Now, what do they do next if they really want to have control of El Salvador? Rug pull Bitcoin? And then you're completely upside down. And now we got you, and you still owe us $1.3 billion back. Anyway, Tether mints $1 billion USD Tether, its first issuance of 2025. And I'm not saying that it's going to happen. I'm just saying the cynical side of me says watch out in case it does. Tether mints $1 billion USD Tether. What could be wrong with this? Tether mints $1 billion USDT, and then Bitcoin goes up soon after. They buy Bitcoin with the $1 billion of the Tether, and then back the Tether with the Bitcoin that just went up. I'm sure it's nothing. Meanwhile, Texas Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick unveils his plan to establish a Texas Bitcoin reserve. he better hope it doesn't work the way I just explained, because now Illinois is jumping in as well with introducing a bill for Bitcoin strategic reserve too. Like I said, I don't have a problem with any of this as long as they're able to fully audit and vet Bitcoin, establish who the whales are, how much of this wash trading business is going on with Tether, if any at all, and reveal the Satoshis that the Department of Homeland Security's interviewed, because they know them. Senator Lummis says one of the first orders of business will be to hold public hearings on a strategic Bitcoin reserve. Well, I'll tell you, Peter Schiff, as you can imagine, says I'll be there to testify against it if they are. I can tell you this, I don't have a problem. Excuse me. I had a yawn. I couldn't stop it, and I didn't feel like hitting the pause button because that's the only edit feature I really have. So if you ever wondered if we're live here, we are. So looking at this, it's like, okay, fine. But Senator Lummis certainly must know that a basket of digital assets would be better than just one. That's the reason that we have an enormous array of stockpiled assets currently right now, like gold, oil, and many, many other assets. So this here is cool to have a conversation, but to just pick one winner, you might as well be Gary Gensler in the Senate. Let's make it a crypto basket with Bitcoin too. Why can't it be? I don't understand it. And we know that the U.S. Treasurer, Scott Bessent, who is in fact confirmed, and he is the official treasurer right now. Well, what do we understand? We understand that he's going to embrace everything crypto and Bitcoin as well. So good things are coming. We just don't know what the package looks like. And here's a more succinct comment from the White House and the new crypto czar, David Sachs, on a U.S. Bitcoin reserve. Listen carefully, as he is not saying the things that Senator Lummis is saying. In fact, he's putting some space between him, the White House, President Trump, and Senator Lummis with this comment.
When are we going to hear the announcement about the Bitcoin reserve from the Trump administration? Everyone's waiting for that. We got the study and the review, but the Bitcoin reserve, Texas is going to move forward. It looks like with legislation Dan Patrick announced today, that's a big priority for them in Texas. But how about the Trump administration?
Well, there's also a bill in the Senate. I think Cynthia Lummis from Wyoming has introduced a bill to create a national Bitcoin reserve. President Trump has asked us to study that issue, so we're just not ready to comment on it yet, but it's one of the things our working group's going to look at.
Can't wait. David, thank you. When are we going to hear the announcement?
There you have it. It's not a yes, right? But now let's listen to the one and only, the Honorable Chris Giancarlo, who will be on stage at XRP Las Vegas 25. And this conversation, this comment that he's making right here is very similar and an extension, I'd say, of the conversation we had last year on stage. You don't want to miss it. Get your ticket to XRP Las Vegas.
We may once again base our currencies on a commodity, but this time a digital commodity, one that has program scarcity built into it, such as Bitcoin. Oh, it's not such a far-fetched idea because countries like the BRICS nations are already experimenting with that idea, and China's been talking about it with their own digital commodity. So the notion of a stockpile, and I would ask the question, does it need to be limited to Bitcoin? Maybe it might be limited to other digital commodities like Ethereum, like XRP or others, but we can explore that. But I think the notion of a stockpile makes a lot of sense. In fact, nations like the United States, nations like China stockpile commodities all the time. We stockpile petroleum. China stockpiles soybeans. They stockpile rebar. They stockpile copper. So commodities are stockpiled by nations all the time. And we should be, and President Trump is absolutely right to be thinking about a stockpile of digital commodities, and we're absolutely right to be thinking about.
And I love that they're thinking about it. And not too long from now, they're going to tell us exactly what they're thinking. Just like Jerome Powell told us yesterday, banks can fully serve crypto customers. Take a listen.
Our role with Bitcoin really is to look at, with crypto, really is to look at the banks, and you know we think it's banks are perfectly able to serve crypto customers as long as they understand and can manage the risks, and it's safe and sound. As a good number of our banks that we regulate and supervise do that. The threshold has been a little higher for banks engaging in our.
Well, there you have it. That is Jerome Powell now admitting that there is nothing they can do. This is what it looks like when you get a new administration, ladies and gentlemen. This is what it looks like. Because this is a private central bank. And that's where Jerome Powell works, at the private central bank, which is not a branch of the government. And they can no longer work along with the FDIC, the OCC, the CFPB, right, and every other stinking asshole agency, the SEC, and so forth, to work together in a coordinated effort to suppress and debank others, not allow master accounts. Remember that? Oh, these people are dirty. I mean, dirty, dirty, dirty. All right, well, let's keep moving. Now, we'll wrap this up, and you'll like this. XRP 6-month candle has closed above the bull market support band, the BMSB, for the first time. Conservative estimate targets suggest a price range of $8 to $13, while an aggressive move could push XRP to 27 to 31 bucks. We got the agencies. We got the head of the agencies getting ready to be confirmed. Some have already been confirmed. We got the Congress, House and Senate. We got the president. We got all the things we need pointed in the right direction. I don't know which one of these targets we hit, or if at all, but I believe we can hit them and go well beyond. Because for the first time in the history of crypto, the United States is embracing it. But it's beyond an embrace. It's not just an embrace of crypto and the innovation. It's embrace of the crypto and innovation to the level that it's becoming an economic pillar to this administration to help restore a middle class in this country. Don't believe it. It's still true. That's what we're looking at. And I'm excited to see how that translates into XRP's use in the new digital economy. Not financial advice from me or anyone else. It's just my digital perspectives. We're going into the freedom zone. I hope you will join us, ladies and gentlemen. This is going to be a good one today. We're going to hop around a little bit, but you're going to want every single bit of it. We're going in right now. I hope you will join us. Come on in. All right, welcome back.